Good evening, folks, and welcome to Homecoming, where the Waterford Mott Corsairs are taking on the Lions, and it's Evan DeFrank receiving the kickoff. A short kick and pretty good return there. I'm Brian McPhee, and I've got Paul Zarati next to me doing the color commentary. We got Matt Boyer on camera. We missed him last week, but great having him back. Best in the industry right there. Doesn't get any better, does it, Paul?
No, not better than Matt Boyer on camera. He was almost a little bit late today. I was worried they were going to pull me into service.
Well, Connor Fracassi bringing out the 5-0 Lions, starting at his 41. Pass out to Quinn Fracassi, and he picks up a couple of yards on that play. And it looks like they're going to give him about 2-3 yards on that. Little pass out to the flat. The Corsairs come in here at 3-2. Paul, they've had kind of a rough schedule this week, or this year so far. Some big wins, one against Northern, 7-0. Milford they took down 26-14, and then lost to Lakeland and Western. Here we go. Connor's in the gun. And that handoff goes to Jordan Singleton. He gets over to the side, just about a yard or two on that carry. Is going to make it 3rd and 8 for the Lions. So far, real conservative.
Yep. Hey, Brian. Yeah. Then just to wrap up the talk on Mott's early games, they had opened up against East, our friends down 10 Mile, with a tight win, 7-6.
So always been a high-powered offense in the past when I've been watching them since we formed the league with them. He goes lock in motion. Fracassi looking up the middle. He finds Quinn. Enough for the first down. And they're over the midfield mark there, down to the 45 of the Corsairs, 46.
Nice job there by the brothers Fracassi. Connor did a great job stepping up in the pocket. Quinn ran his route. He found an open spot. He just kind of sat down there, and Connor found him.
Yep, and ran it deep enough for the first down. That gives him a first down in the 46 of Mott. We've got a full stadium here tonight, at least on the home side. Pass out to Locke. Locke gets outside. Gets down to the 40. Nice 6-yard gain there before he's knocked out of bounds. On defense, it looks like that was Eric Davis, number 5. And 21 also in on the play, Sear Saunders. Our first real football weather night here.
Little chilly tonight, little chilly. People had to get the coats and the gloves out for tonight's game.
Fracassi gets the snap. The handoff to the back in motion. That's Singleton. And that was defense pretty good by the Corsairs.
Yeah, so far Corsairs shutting down the run game. Packed house tonight, homecoming night. Had to park way far away.
Yeah, I got my steps in just coming in from the parking lot. So 3rd and 4 for the Lions. Oh, and we got movement out there. Flags all over. We'll wait and see what they call.
Connor had a couple words for the ref there. Like, don't let that guy do that to me.
Right. And that was offsides on Waterford Mott.
So you mentioned the Corsairs coming in at 3-2. Our Lions at 5-0. At the beginning of the season, did you think we'd be saying that?
Well, there's a few scary games on the schedule, and this is one of those as well. So far, the Lions have done a great job Oh, Connor rolling out to his left. He's scrambling. He gets a pass off and gets that out of bounds. Good job just throwing that away before getting sacked. Of course, there's a pretty good rush on there.
Referee's having a little discussion out there, Brian. I don't know. They're going to say that he grounded the ball because he didn't get outside the tackles, I don't think. Well, let's see.
Well, and Chris Henderson for Mott is a 6'3", 215-pound defensive end that is creating all kinds of havoc out there for us right now.
That was the call, Brian. Intentional grounding on the Lions. Got to get outside those tackles if you're going to purposely throw the ball out of bounds.
It seems as though he could have thrown it to the other sideline. He threw that thing about 40 yards to get it out of bounds.
Yeah, he did.
Showing his arm strength there.
40 yards and 5 yards down the field.
So the Lions are second in a bunch. And Fracassi kept it himself. Got back to the line of scrimmage.
Connor had some room there. I think he tripped over one of the defensive linemen. Wasn't really tackled, just tripped.
So a change up of players. You got Evan DeFrank in the backfield to Fracassi's left. Fracassi looking downfield. Looks in, he's got Brendan Locke down there. And a nice gain there, getting back to almost the original line of scrimmage.
Yep. Nice play there. Connor putting a little bit of touch on the ball. Notice that the last few games, he's really changing up the pace of his passes, and at the right time just kind of lofting it out there, letting the players run underneath and get it. That's what happened there with Brendan Locke.
And he had a little better protection that time.
Yep.
Evan DeFrank again to the right this time of Fracassi. Locke goes in motion to the short side. He looks downfield and he's got Locke. And they call it complete. Brendan had to slide for that one, otherwise he had the end zone in front of him.
Yeah, he did. Good focus by Brendan, concentrating on the ball, doing everything he could to pull it in.
Locke splits out top to the right. Quinn Fracassi and McGrath down to the left. And here goes, I believe that was DeFrank. Made a nice run off tackle, got to the second level and made some things happen.
Yeah, definitely the best run from scrimmage for the Lions tonight.
When they're inside the 10, it'll make it 1st and goal for the Lions from the 5-yard line. The Lions moving down the field on their first possession. We got Locke split out wide to the right. DeFrank goes out on a wheel route, and Connor keeps it himself and pulls it in and runs it off tackle for a touchdown. Well, they were watching that wheel route with DeFrank and Locke over on that side, and Connor just scooted through the line and got in for the end zone.
Yeah, definitely good execution there, faking that wheel route. I think he was open, too. The wheel route would have been there, too. I think he had a choice.
The Lions start off with their first possession and a touchdown here with 7:20 to go in the first quarter. William Stojanovic for the extra point. He puts it up, and it's good. Putting the Lions up 7-0 early here in the first quarter. We'll be right back with the Lions kickoff. Chris Chinovar kicking off for the Lions, number 24. He puts a foot into it and drives it down to about the 12-yard line. And the Corsairs take it there, running up the field all the way up to the 35-yard line. Eric Davis, number 5 for the return for the Corsairs. And we'll see what the Corsairs bring out and offer up as an offensive setup. Okay, here we go with the Corsairs starting off. They throw downfield right off the bat. And that's covered pretty well there by the Lions. We had Keegan McGrath and Jake Newman back there in coverage.
It is number 12.
Ashton Tong is the quarterback for the Corsairs, number 12. He's a sophomore. There were a few sophomores on this team, so they may be in a rebuilding year. And they run up the middle, and the Lions do a good job of filling up every gap there was there.
Gus Taylor giving a warm welcome to the Corsair running back.
We're not seeing Jack Schaefer out there right now, who turned an ankle last week. So we'll see if he comes out to play or not tonight. He is dressed on the sideline. Ashton Tong in the back in the gun. And we've got a delay here, whistle by the referees. And it looks like we got to delay a game. That'll move them back 5 yards. Making it 3rd and 15 for the Corsairs. Tong takes the handoff. He fakes, throws downfield. And we've got an incomplete pass. McGrath was back there in coverage. He got away with a little grab of the jersey there, but
yeah, I think the ref might have been turning around or something. I think he missed it, but it wasn't too bad. He had good coverage.
Yeah, he didn't change the direction of the receiver or anything. So well, that'll be a punting situation for Mott. 4th and 15 from their 30. Brendan Locke is back deep for the Lions.
13, Brendan Tracy.
Brendan Tracy is a kicker for Mott. And he puts a big right foot into it, kicks it down to about the 40, takes a Lion, or bounce right to Locke, who gets caught up in a bunch of Corsairs. And he's taken down at about the 43, 44-yard line. 43 is they're going to mark it. The Lions will start out 1st and 10 from their own 43. Pretty good field position starting off for the Lions right now, and they pass it out to Quinn Fracassi, who gets back to about the line of scrimmage. And he's down before he got out of bounds, so the clock will keep running. We'll give him a yard on the play there. Well, I was going to say the field position has worked out in the Lions' favor so far, the first 2 possessions. Cassie has the Frank Corsairs stretch it out as he tries to find a hole there, and there just wasn't one for him to be had.
No. Corsairs appear to have really good speed on defense. A little bit hard to get outside. We've been successful with the pass, but trying to string things out and get it wide and nothing doing.
Number 32, Manasara Umar, has been doing a pretty good job up on the line for the Corsairs. I probably butchered that name. Percassi takes the snap, drops back to pass. He looks downfield, rolls out. He scrambles to his right, still looking downfield. Oh, and he almost... Did they catch that? Yep. Interception on the tip. Eric Davis made the grab there. That was after being deflected by the Lion receiver.
Yeah, that was Quinn Fracassi. Went up there, tried to catch that one, came off his hand, and went right to the Corsairs.
Ashton Tong, quarterback again, taking over for. He hands off, keeps the ball, and runs up the middle, where he's met with a host of Lions there.
That was Mitch Comorison on that one.
So it's 2nd and 8 for Mott. Tong with running back split to either side. Number 9 gets it, goes around the end, and he's stuffed there where the Lions did a good job of stringing that one out. Brendan McCluskey was the ball carrier.
Jesse Powell using his speed from his outside linebacker position over there, make that play.
He does a good job of closing down that end out there. The speed and long reach that he has. So it's 3rd and 7 for the Corsairs now. You got twin backs either side. Tong looking downfield. He's got a man open. It looked like we had a coverage breakdown out there. And a last-ditch effort to try to tackle him before he gets into the end zone.
Yeah, they ran the back out of the backfield in motion. Quarterback gave a good pump fake. Corner bit on that one, and there's the result.
So a few different people on defense tonight. You know, they got to talk out there. With 2:41 left in the quarter here, Mott's looking to tie it up after the turnover. Gavin Terrison holding for the Corsairs. And that kick is blocked. And kick low, so I don't know if they get credit for a block on those when they kick it into you.
Yeah.
So the Lions keep the lead here. It's 7-6. And Mott will be kicking off here soon. And we've got the Corsairs are going to kick off. Brendan Locke's deep to receive. They keep it away from him. Evan DeFrank gets it. He picks it up. He makes a nice return back up to the 40. And again, the Lions will start out with pretty good field position. I don't think they wanted Locke to get that.
No, I think they've seen what Locke can do when he gets the ball, so they're keeping it away from him. You made the observation earlier, Brian, about some new guys in there on defense, and we just recognized that Brendan Dancer's on the sidelines tonight in street clothes.
That's a big hole to fill there.
Absolutely.
Not to mention the experience. So we'll see the pass out to the side, out to Quinn Fracassi again, and he picks up about 5 yards on that play.
South Lyon coaches must see something there. That's third or fourth time they've kind of run that play.
They have, and it's worked out pretty good for them so far. So 2:21 to go here in the first quarter. The Lions with 3 receivers split to the left. You got Locke, Fracassi, and Jack Pesh, number 33, is now in the game. Fracassi takes a handoff. He keeps it himself, and he is just smothered. That was that old read react, and I'm thinking right now he's wishing he gave it to Singleton.
Yeah, that was number 28, Daniel Kaiser, for Waterford, coming in and making a good hard tackle there.
Well, they had that sniffed out. So now at 3rd and 5 for the Lions. Fracassi drops back to pass. Looking downfield, he finds McGrath, who scoots across to get the first down. Forward progress should have him at the first down there.
Good job by Connor there, not getting too frazzled. He had good protection, but he just hung back in there and waited for McGrath to get open.
That's a few times he's waited for the play to develop in front of him and then delivered. Here goes Locke in motion, pass out to Locke. He scoots up through the hole. He gets across to the 40, and we got a penalty flag out there. Looks like we might have something behind the play that be holding or block in the back. We'll be right back with the call. Well, here we go. That was a big one.
So the Lions in a big hole again, Ryan, for the second time tonight.
Yep. Fracassi getting dancing around out there, finds Quinn, who's almost broke through, but they got a hold of that jersey. So about a 10, 12-yard gain there, but they need 3 more of those to even get close to a first down. So it's second and about 20 for the Lions right now. Locke lined up in the wing to the right of Fracassi. Quinn in motion. And, oh my gosh, the blitz just killed him. The Lions need to do a better job of trying to pick up that blitz. That moved us back another 10 yards.
That was number 4, Deshaun Wilson from Mott, slipping through there.
So the Lions at the their own 36-yard line. They got to get to the 39 of Waterford, so it's 3rd and 26.
Good math, Brian, good math.
The scoreboard had it this time. So then we got a timeout for the Lions right now, so we'll be right back after this timeout. Well, as our cameraman just asked, how many 3rd and 26 plays do you have in the playbook? Well, how about 3rd and 37 after this? So the Lions are getting just a little bit confused out there.
Yep.
Maybe starting to press a little bit.
Maybe a little loss of focus.
You know, it's a big night. It's homecoming. You're in a tight game. Picassi's going to pull it down and run himself. And he just gets a couple yards there. So we'll be right back with the Lions as they get ready to punt this ball. At the start of the second quarter, as the Lions swap ends of the field and get ready to kick this ball, Locke puts a foot in it, kicks it down, and is received at the 28-yard line by number 9 for Waterford Mott, Brendan McCluskey. He takes that back up to their own 43-yard line.
Nice tackle by Jake Newman there. Got to give him a shout out when he gets a tackle because they're always throwing away from him.
Yeah, they don't run to his teams have not run to his side this year. In the Lakeland game, I did find out the interception he got, he actually swapped sides from where he should have been.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, Mott with a full backfield out there. Oh, and Jesse Powell gets in there and causes it get to the quarterback, and he just kind of flipped it to one of his running backs who was surprised by that play. And what do we got?
They're going to call it an incomplete pass, Brian. I think there were some thoughts there that was more of a fumble than anything else. That's a tough call.
He was behind the line of scrimmage and a forward pass. You don't have to throw it overhand.
No, not anymore. Of course, that was Jesse Powell in there, wreaking havoc.
And timeout by Mott. We'll be right back after this. Well, here we go. It's 2nd and 10. So no loss on that. And Jesse Powell comes through and just annihilated Tanj. Oh my gosh, I heard that hit up here, Paul.
Yeah. You know, Jesse plays on the outside, and usually he uses his speed to get around the outside of the defender into the backfield. That time he slipped to the inside, and nobody even touched him.
Yeah. That moves them back 8 yards on the loss. It'll be 3rd and 18. And here come the Corsairs. Handoff up the middle, and he's met there at the line of scrimmage and gets maybe 3 yards.
Corsairs quarterback made that handoff, and he looked up, and Jesse was right in his face. I think he just about jumped out of his shoes.
Ryan Shemp was in on the tackle on that one, number 65, along with a few of his teammates. So the Corsairs in punting situation here. 4th and 14, kicking from their 39. And we almost get to that one. Locke grabs it. He gets outside. Gets out to the 50. Over to the 50, front of the 40. Nice return there. And the nice thing about it is there's no flags out there.
Yeah, you said it earlier. Lions with good starting field position all night. That was a great defensive stand, that last series by the Lions.
It was. They looked a little more confident, a little more in charge. And Jesse Powell's case, maybe a little bit possessed. So Fracassi has the other Fracassi in motion. Handoff is to Singleton. He's running real hard. Picks up about 6 yards. You know, Singleton proved he can be a pretty good runner out there, and I believe it was a Northern game that he just kind of took ownership, and the second half did a great job of getting positive yardage every carry.
Yeah, he really did, especially towards the end of that game when we had to grind it out, and he was the man for that. That was great downfield blocking there by Ashton D'Angelo on that last play.
So 2nd and 4 for the Lions. Quinn Fracassi in motion. Fracassi, Connor keeps it, and he runs up for a first down and more. Oh, and we have a South Lyon Lion player down. I didn't catch the number.
That is Adam Walrath, Brian, our center, and he is in a little bit of pain.
We hope he's okay, and we'll be back after this. So the Lions, with Adam Walrath, who hobbled off on his own there, or with assistance, without putting any weight on that leg. And Singleton making a nice run up the middle there.
Yeah, Brian, Adam came off the field. Coaches were helping him, and then the players came out and carried him over to the bench. He's in quite a bit of pain there. So you got number 57, Isaac McComb, moving over from his left guard position to do the centering duties now.
Well, it's next man up. We did a lot of that last year, didn't we?
Yep, and you got Gus Taylor stepping in to play that left guard position now.
So Fracassi back to pass. Oh, and he finds Camaris wide open, who twirls in for the touchdown.
Yeah, nice play there. Mitch just found a way from his wingback or tight end position, wide open there at the 5, and Connor delivered a strike.
Well, that's got to give the offense some confidence.
Yep.
And they do a direct snap to DeGraff, who throws and touchdown. Or 2-point conversion.
That was Steve Shelton, Brian, and you told me earlier the guy that's centering on that formation is an eligible receiver, and that's where Shelton came from.
Yep, and that's how that play works. If you don't cover the center,
yep,
then they call it a direct snap, and they run the extra 2. And then one night, I think we ran it 3 different times, and one time Coach Henson was just livid, and I asked him later what was going on with that play, and he said they were tackling the center. He's an eligible receiver. And here we are with the Lions kickoff. Chinavera kicking off, and he puts a foot in it and kicks it deep into the end zone. Touchback. And so the Corsairs will be coming out starting at their own 20-yard line. Matt Boyer showing why he's the best in the business. And the Corsairs got a man in motion. Tong is back at quarterback. He's got empty backfield now. He looks downfield, and oh my Lord, Jesse Powell came in unblocked. I think that's 3 plays in a row that he's been unblocked.
Yeah, I think so, Brian. If I was a quarterback, I'd be asking my linemen, please find where Jesse is. Somebody put a body on him.
And they wouldn't be sending all the backs out of the backfield without a really quick pass.
Yeah.
I'm not sure just trying to read it.
And that makes it 2nd and 17. I think Jesse has more sack yards than their running backs have ground yardage. And they hand off up the middle. They gained some of that back, about 6-7 yards.
Number 4, Caleb Mulcahy in there on that tackle.
And that was the runaway from number 30 play.
Yeah.
So we had Keegan McGrath at the corner position. Run around end outside. And he's met there by McGrath. And it looks like it may end up about 4th and 5 or 6. Yeah, 4th and 6.
Good play by Ben Caesar there, coming up from his linebacker position. Put a stop to that run.
That's a new name on the defense tonight. And he did get some playing time through the year here, I know that.
Yeah.
And that's what Dem Pelchat, who's handling the stadium announcement, would call a shankopotamus, and Locke did a good job of picking that up and getting an extra 10 yards.
Yeah, Brendan looks like a shortstop tonight. He's picked a few of them up on a hop.
He has, yeah. So the Lions on Corsairs' 39-yard line with 6:10 to go in the second half. And the handoff is to Mitch Camoris. He gets out around end, picks up about 3 yards there. So we're going to have a variety of different people handling the ball here tonight, I think. You like to have that go-to back that can develop some consistency in that, but again, it's not bad having keeping the defense on edge of who the heck's going to get it. And Fracassi rolling out to his right, and he finds Quinn Fracassi downfield at about the 23 or 26 yard line, and that's enough for a first down.
Real nice clutch by Quinn there. Kind of going down and again focusing on the ball, making sure you're bringing it in.
And again, you know, throughout the year, he's done a good job of making sure he gets deep enough on his route to get the first down.
Yeah.
Fracassi throws out to the side. It's Quinn who bounces around, and he picks up about 5-6 yards out there.
Quick update on Adam Walrath. He's on the bench. Doesn't look like anything's broken. I'm going to call it a twisted ankle. He's got some ice on it out there. I think that might be his mom and dad out there joking with him.
Or his prom date asking if he's going to be able to dance tomorrow night.
I'm going to say the answer is no.
The coach will answer that for him. No dancing. Get better. Here we go. We got trips out to the right this time. Fracassi keeps it and just gets a couple of yards there.
Yeah, I think that was enough for a first down there, though, Brian. Again, kind of knowing where the down marker's at. That was Jacob Klingler pulling from his guard position and kind of finding the right guy to block just to make sure that Connor could get that first down. Real nice play there.
And Singleton was in front of him there and took care of that outside guy, so got just what they needed to get the first down. First and 10 from the 15. And they got the trips to the right again. They're bunched up in the middle, pass out to the side, and it's a touchdown. That's Brendan Locke in the corner. Did a good job of getting separation, and Connor did a great job of getting the ball to him.
Yeah, Brendan gave a little head fake there. He got the defender turned around, and Connor threw the ball right in the right spot.
So we got 3:28 left in the half. The Lions up 21-6, looking to add another point here by Stojanovic. The graph is holding, and Mott a little anxious there, thinking they're going to try to block this, and they get flagged for offsides. Let's see what Coach Henson does here. And they're going to line it up. Nice article about Billy Stojanovic in the paper this week. And that kick is... No, it was not good, and we've got a penalty. So, what I like about this is taking seconds off the clock, I think.
That's right. Offside.
Or they don't run the clock in the extra point. Well, if they did run that. Well, I was talking about Billy and his dad who kicked at Michigan State, and his uncle that kicked for the Dolphins for 14 years. And, you know, the legacy that he has to follow there, and is there any pressure or not. But so it was a nice article. So, Paul, I don't know what's going on out there.
I don't know either. The Lions put somebody in motion, and the Corsairs just can't hold their ground. Here comes the offense back out on the field. I think you got about 2 inches to get into the end zone.
You got to fall forward, right? Yeah. We'll see what they do here. So the Lions decide to now go for 2 after 3 straight penalties. And Fracasse's there to take the snap. And he just runs it in for 2. That looked pretty easy. Now making the score 23-6. Lions ahead. And the Lions kicking off. Chinavar drives that down. And the Mott player that received that kick stepped out of bounds. He did the old bicycle step and took a half back step, and it was right on the line. The ref was there to make the call. So Waterford Mott back on their 16-yard line. When we talk about field position, what the Lions have started with, Mott has not.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know if Mott's been over half field, except for the touchdown.
Right. That one touchdown on the broken coverage was their biggest play of the and really only big play of the game. So Tong in the backfield, he hands off, and wow, that's running back there. 24 did a great job of carrying that. Zayon Styles, who's a 5'10", 225-pound running back.
That's the first time we called his number tonight. Running hard.
Yeah, that's a lot of beef to bring down. They hand it to him again. He runs into his own player, and he's taken down there. Steve Shelton with the sure tackle there. So the Corsairs lining up, looking over to the sideline as they go no huddle. Tong in the backfield with a lone running back. And Tong keeps it and throws out to the side, but it skips up to the receiver, and that's incomplete. That'll be 3rd and 8 for the Corsairs. Styles in the backfield with Tong. Tong draws back to pass, and that pass is short. Again, he had quite the rush on there. Jesse Powell looked like he was being held there, and he's a little upset right now on the sideline getting fingers looked at. The Corsairs are 4th and 8 from the 29-yard, their own 29-yard line. And that snap, whoa, the punter did a great job of feeling that, and then I think we had a piece of it. It did get tipped, and the ball just rolls out to about the Lions' 47-yard line. So a high snap, a big rush. Partially tipped ball there, and the Lions end up with great field position. Minute 58. Fracassi in the backfield. Hands off to Jake Newman, who cuts inside a player. He gets outside. He gets out over to the 50, down to the 40, down to the 35. Big run by Jake Newman there. And he did a good job doing the little dipsy-do inside the defensive end, and then took off down the field.
Yeah, Jake been playing great on defense this year, but hasn't gotten a lot of opportunity on offense. Made the most of it there.
Well, that's good to see. You know, he is an athlete. He's got speed and quickness, so good to see him using him. Well, it's 1st and 10 from the Corsairs' 33-yard line. Fracassi takes a snap. Back to pass. He looks downfield. He rolls out to his left. He tried signaling to Camoras to go downfield, but he was still on his route and ends up throwing it out of bounds there. So that line doing a little better job protecting Fracassi, although he's had to scramble a little bit.
Yeah.
But that blitz isn't coming in and annihilating him.
Yeah, and Connor's got quick feet, and he continues to mature as the year goes on. I thought he did a good job there, giving himself as much time as possible. But then at some point, you give up the ship and throw the ball out of bounds.
Here goes lock in motion to the left. Fracassi looking downfield. He's scrambling. Looks downfield. He's got Quinn. Fracassi makes a great catch there. Is that Quinn? Yeah. Quinn went up and was just a little bit behind him and came down with it. And we got another first down for the Lions. They're going to be down right around the 10-yard line. That's going to mark it right on the 10-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10. 1st and goal from the 10. Fracassi in the gun, takes a snap, looking downfield. He rolls out to his left, and he had two options out there. And it's Quinn Fracassi who gets it, and he's got a touchdown. He's got to be excited there. Well, that's 29-6 here with a minute to go in the first half. The Lions line up for the extra point. Last time this took about 4 tries due to 4 offensive offsides by the defense. Evan DeFrank is in holding. And the kick is up and good. So Stojanovic puts it through for the 30th point for the Lions tonight. Well, the Corsairs have 6, and we got a minute left in the half, and the Lions will be kicking off. Chunivar, number 24, is going to kick off for the Lions. And he kicks that down to about the 10 where it's dropped. Oh! And they've got him pinned down out there. And the Lions knock him out of bounds at about the 15-yard line. Mitch Kimura is taking care of business down there for the Lions. So the Corsairs starting deep in their own end on the 15-yard line. Tong throws on the slant, and it's intercepted. The Lions intercept the ball down deep in the Corsairs' end. And that was Evan DeFrank who stepped in front of that one and almost got loose to get in the end zone. But the Lions will start out on the 10-yard line with 46 seconds remaining.
Nice job by Evan there. He timed that perfectly. I think he saw the ball coming out and just stepped right in front. Clean interception.
And those slant patterns are usually pretty tough to cover, but when you can read it like that, that's what happens.
Well, and as a quarterback, too, you're throwing that ball, and your expectation is that your receiver is going to, kind of like in basketball, is going to seal that defender a little bit, but that didn't happen that time around.
Right. So Fracassi takes it, he scoots around, and he's got a pass in. We got a touchdown. And that's Mitch Kimoris again, becoming the offensive powerhouse here tonight.
Yep, well, like you say, Brian, next man up. Jack Schaefer's out tonight. You got Mitch Kimoris, big senior, big strong kid, and he's picking it up out there.
And they're spreading it around too, so if I were the defensive coordinator over there, I wouldn't know who the heck to focus on.
No, a little shout out to Coach Stalter there, mixing it up really good tonight.
And Stoyanovic's kick is up and good. Well, that makes it 36-6. With 40 seconds to go, the Lions will be kicking off right after this. So Chinavar is going to kick off again. Seems like he just did this about 20 seconds ago, Paul. And this one is driven deep for another touchback.
Nice.
He line drive that one right into the end zone.
Yeah, he's getting a hold of it tonight. Maybe got a little bit of wind going with him, but doing a good job of denying Mott the chance to make any kind of return.
So with the score 37-6, the Lions on top and 39 seconds to go. The Corsairs run the ball up the middle. Styles again, Zion Styles, the bowling ball, and he gets about 4 yards on that carry. And they've got Jesse Powell on the bench right now. Probably a good thing, getting some other players playing time.
He's got some ice on that finger. I saw him earlier talking to one of the other players. I think he was explaining to him that he hit the shoulder of one of the offensive players and maybe pulled that finger out of place.
So that's halftime for the Lions. We'll have a 20-minute halftime here for homecoming. The Lions up 37-6 against Waterford Mott Corsairs. And there's a kickoff for the start of the second half. The Lions up 37-6. And they do a great job of recovering on that kickoff as they pin them down inside the 15. So the Lions kind of with a makeshift defense here tonight, Paul. More guys than we thought being out, and then a couple getting hurt in the first half of this game. So being up 37-6, we'll probably get to see a few more names that we'll have to go deep in the roster to find them. So Tong at quarterback. He hands off and oh my gosh, the guy's up the middle. And Stephen Shelton's the last guy to try to take him down. And he misses. We got a few more there that get him tackled out of bounds, not until he gets down inside our 20. Was that Stiles again?
Yeah.
The big fullback?
Yep.
Dayon Stiles just rambled down for about a 80-yard run.
Bunch of Lions had a chance at that one. Steve Shelton, good job by Gus following the play, never giving up.
And here goes Tong up the middle, and he gets very little yards.
Number 19, Ben Caesar, wrapping him up around the legs there to bring him down.
Ben's gotten some playing time this year. His first game that I believe starting at middle linebacker in place of Jack Schaefer. So it's 2nd and 10 from the 17-yard line of the Lions. And of course, they're starting out a house of fire here tonight, coming out here in the second half. They're not sure what is taking so long out there, but the Corsairs come out with 3 split to the left. The lone fullback, that's Stiles, and he carries through. And we got a new quarterback in there also. That's number 8, or if they're just using a running back that they're doing a direct snap to. Might have been just a wildcat that they're running there.
Yeah.
Tong's back out there now. So again, they got trips to the left. Tong, number 4 in the backfield, he hands off to him, and he scoots through and nearly gets into the end zone before he's down at about the 2 or 3 yard line.
So I see Jesse Powell back out there, Brian. He was playing left end. Looks like the Corsairs are kind of working a little bit of inside tackle running right now. So trying to stay away from the ends and seal that and create a hole just over the tackle.
That seems to be where they've had their most success, at least of late. Running Mr. Stiles out there has proven to be successful for them. Tong hands off. He gets up to he's close to the goal line. And it's going to be 3rd and short. When we got a player going off because of a helmet. He'll have to sit out a play. So the Lions defense digging in here down on the 2 yard line. It's 2nd and 2. Tong with a full backfield. And the snap, handoff to the first guy. Oh, fumble. DeFrank has it. He's going down to the 50, going over to the 45, the 40, down to the 30, to 35, 20, to the 10, to 5, touchdown. And we've got a flag it right at the 50-yard line. There's multiple flags out there, Paul.
Yeah, well, Brian, on that play, looked like the Corsairs trying to run a little bit of misdirection, and I think they were supposed to fake the ball to Styles. He ended up hitting the ball. It came out, popped out onto the ground, came right up into DeFrank's hands, and he was off to the races. You hate to see these flags behind a play like this because there was nobody near Evan on that one. Personal foul. This is against the Corsairs.
Well, there were multiple flags out there, or the refs saw the same, and so you're right, Paul. It is against the Corsairs, and we're going to be lining up for an extra point. So the touchdown is good by Evan DeFrank. And, Paul, I think there had to be every bit of 94 yards, 96 yards on that return.
Yeah, for sure. Well, the line of scrimmage was, like you said, it was just inside the 2-yard line, and that ball popped out, shallow in the backfield, so some good yardage for Evan DeFrank on that one.
He might need to go get a little oxygen or air, but
he's got a hold. He's got a hold for this kick.
Well, he's young. Stojanovic is on for the extra point. And DeFrank puts it down, and Stojanovic's kick is good, making it 44-6 with 8:37 here to go in the third quarter. And so with 8:37 left in the third quarter, the Lions up 44 to Corsairs 6. Corsairs take that right down about the 2-yard line. Great coverage again by the Lions as they tackle them inside the 15-yard line. His forward progress is probably going to be the 15. We've got another fumble out there. And it looks like Mott recovered their own fumble there. So Mott is kind of self-imploded here tonight.
Well, yeah, that was quite the turn of events, right? Mott comes out, takes the opening kickoff, takes it all the way down the field to the 2-yard line with a lot of hard running, maybe exposing a little bit of weakness on the interior side of the line there. And then the fumble happens, and, 98 yards later, Lions touchdown.
Here goes Tong. He hands off to Styles, who bowls his way through for about 5 yards.
You got to expect they're going to be getting a big dose of Styles all night long here.
Well, I think you're right. That's been their most productive play all night, other than the one missed coverage where they scored on the bomb. So Tong with the runner to his side, passes downfield, and he's met immediately. Looks like it might have been Quinn Fracassi making the tackle there. So it's 3rd and short for the Corsairs, 3rd and 1. Tong hands off to Styles. You knew he was getting it, and Mitch Camoris knew it too and stopped him. That was a huge play. Mitch and a Pride of Lions stopped Mr. Styles short of the goal of the first down mark there, so it'll be 4th and 1.
Yep, Ryan Champ in there with a big hit along with Mitch. Seed number 8. Vincent Vaughn out playing right corner now for the Lions, getting some playing time.
And they're going to go for it here, 4th and 1. Oh. And an incomplete pass. And so the Lions will take over at the 24-yard line on downs. That was kind of, well, you know, you got to pull it all out. You're down by 38 points. You got a running clock going.
Yeah, that play never did come off right. It looked a little bit unorthodox from the beginning. The receiver was open. Quarterback just couldn't get him the ball.
Well, I don't know why you wouldn't have given it to Mr. Stiles again.
That's probably the call I would have made.
So, the Lions now with the ball at the 24. Fracassi taking his time, hands off to Singleton, and he gets around in, and he gets looks like he got enough for the first down there, Paulie, before he got knocked out of bounds. But
yeah, great running by Singleton there, wrapping up the ball till he got outside the line and moving it out to his left hand and picking up the first down. Shout out to Brendan Locke there, blocking downfield.
And Fracassi is going to come out of the game now, and Evan DeFrank's going in at the quarterback position. With the number of people that have gotten taped up, ice bags, and everything else, no need to have him in the game at this point. So DeFrank, who started last year on the JV as a junior or as a sophomore, now handling quarterback duties, and he hands off to Singleton, who was met immediately there. So Mott certainly not giving up on the defensive side.
Nope. Lions offensive line continuing to work together as a unit tonight. Had to have Isaac McComb, number 57, move over to the center position. You got Jacob Klingler at right guard, Ashton D'Angelo at right tackle. We'll pick up the rest after this play.
DeFrank hands off. Looks like that was number 4.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's who it was.
Caleb Mulcahy. I want to call him Father Mulcahy from the old MASH shows, but nobody watching probably remembers those.
Finishing up on the offensive line, Brian. Got Gus Taylor stepping up, playing some left guard for us tonight. And Caleb Baker in his left tackle position where he's been a fixture all year.
So it's 3rd and 12 now for the Lions. And DeFrank rolls out to his right. He's got a man open and just overthrows him. Yep, that was Darian Manarich making the diving attempt to catch that. And that's got to be kind of tough for DeFrank coming in, not getting a chance to really warm up.
Right.
Your first pass is on the run.
I'm sure his eyes were pretty big when he saw Darren back there pretty wide open. Got
right.
A little overzealous and just put a little too much on that ball.
So we're going to look to see if we can't get a 30-yard field goal out here. They'll be spotting the ball at the 20-yard line, and we got a timeout by South Lyon right now. With 2:24 left in the third quarter, Lions up 44-6.
Good, baby. Good.
And that kick was up and off to the left. All right, so look like Mr. Stiles getting the ball there. I'm not sure on his, on that 80-plus yard run that he had there It wasn't so much speed as it was running over people.
Yeah, no, like I said, a number of Lions had a shot at him, and he just kind of overpowered him along the way.
All right, so some more substitutions on the defensive side of the ball for the Lions. And Tong, looking back, he's getting chased. Tries to scramble back up the middle, and he didn't get anywhere.
That was number 61, Jake Madsen, and number 5, Jordan Singleton, giving chase there in the Corsair backfield.
So 3rd and 10 for the Corsairs from their own 20-yard line. Hand off to Styles. He gets about 3 or 4 yards on that carry. And it looks like they might be sending out the punting unit here. Well, yeah, Quinn Fracassi back deep to receive this punt. He's standing about the 45-yard, and the snap is over the head. And it's tackled. Oh, my gosh, the kicker should have just kicked it out of the end zone for a safety, but he mishandled it, and the Lions recovered it for another touchdown.
I think it was Darian Meinerich there.
Yeah, it looks like number 45. Darian jumping around and dancing like it's prom night. Great job there. We're sticking with it. And, you can't tell these kids to slow down.
No.
With 50 to 6, they're going to get their chance to play and want to play.
Yeah.
So the kick is up, and that's good. So Stojanovic hits and makes it 51 to 6. From a game that started out in the very first quarter, it was a close game, 7 to 6, and the Lions seemed to be in control, but just couldn't start putting it away. It didn't happen until the second quarter. So it's good seeing these guys getting playing time.
Yeah, you think back to that first quarter, and we were commenting on the speed of the Corsair defense. Of course, the Lions made a few mistakes, right, which put us in a hole.
Right.
Even though they played through it.
Well, they did a great job of just staying this number, scare them. So now the kickoff sails down to the 15 or to the 5. And again, we get a big hit there by number 19. Looked like Ben Caesar, the first guy in on there, and then number 6 also came in, Derek Jamber. We got a little, maybe a cramp down here from one of the South Lyon players. Coach Henson trying to stretch it out for him. It's Evan DeFrank who's he's holding a water bottle and getting his legs stretched out, so I don't think it's too serious. And here we are at the start of the fourth quarter with a running clock. Tong looking to pass. The rush is on, and he gets gobbled up by Pride of Lions right in the middle there. Did you ever think you'd say the Pride of Lions with the second and third string in? Of course you would.
Yeah, of course
you would. They play a great team.
Yeah, Adam Covert in there, in on that sack.
Oh, excellent. So Tong again waiting for the snap. He gets it. He looks back to pass. Throws downfield. Well covered down there. We had number 8, Vincent Vaughn, the corner in there now. He did a good job of staying on his man. So 3rd and 11 now for the Corsairs. They're looking to run again. Tong keeps it, and he just gets back to the line of scrimmage.
Number 14, Dylan Knox, getting a play in there. Nice stop.
So it'll be 4th and 10. After what happened on the last punt. Well, and they're a little confused out there, Waterford, on what they're going to do. Getting the right personnel out there. And they're going to run a play. They got a Wildcat set up. And they're going to need to burn a timeout. And we'll be back right after this. So they're running. Well, we actually already had the turnover on downs. Lions ball to Frank and the quarterback. He pitches out to Jordan Singleton. And Waterford did a good job of covering that. But they don't seem to have a very big team this year, Waterford, Mott. They still have most of their starters out there.
I think they're a little light on the numbers, Ryan, over at Mott this year for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, someone made it go on to Clark's or Kettering. Kettering has some athletes on their team this year.
Yeah.
So DeFrank taking his time, running the clock down. And there the ref puts his hand up. And DeFrank hands off to Singleton again. He goes right up the middle. And Waterford pretty much knowing that we're just going to run between the tackles, keep it conservative.
Well, Brian, you never want to look forward past a game, but Lions seem to have this one in hand, and they got a big game coming up next week.
Very big game, and it's good to see some of these guys getting the guys that started that were not starters that did a great job. Hopefully most of those starters will be back next week. And we're 2 or 3 people down the depth chart that are out there right now, and they're not hurting the team at all, which is good to see. They get their chance to play.
Yeah, that was Jack Petch, a junior, 210-pound junior, getting the handoff there, picking up a couple yards.
So 4th and 7. The Lions letting that clock run down. We've got 7:40 left in the game. And Stojanovic is out there to for the try. He's going to be kicking from the 25, and the kick is up. And he just short there. Had good accuracy on that one, but just not enough leg.
Yep.
Looks like he kind of got under it a little bit with more so than into it. 15 left. They'll be starting on their own 20-yard line. And Tong hands off to the man in motion. And the Lions do a good job of hemming him in there after he does get about 5 yards on that play. So 2nd and 3. He actually got 7 yards on that run. Lions getting tested here. Styles again, and he goes off tackle, breaks it back across field, and he's brought down just short of the 45-yard line, and that's a first down for Mott.
Number 6, Darren Jamber, riding him into the ground. Derek Jamber.
So Tong bringing his team out. He hands off to Styles again. This time he's met by the linebackers, and he's just get about 3 yards on that carry.
61, Jake Madsen, in there for the Lions. I really like to see this out of the Corsairs, Brian. And I like to see it out of their coaching staff, too. They have not quit coaching those boys all night long.
Well, obviously not tonight, but they still got a chance to get in the playoffs.
Yeah, they do.
So Tong takes the snap, fakes the pass, and pulls it down. Ooh, and he's hit hard there by a couple of Lions. Number 61 in there.
Number 6 again, Derek Jamber in on that. Gave up his mouth guard there for a second.
That was a big hit. It was another one of those that you heard up here. But it's going to be third and 2 for the Corsairs. And they hand off to Styles again. And he has those legs driving. Picked up about 6 yards on that carry. It takes him all the way down to the Lions' 41-yard line. And a first down. Styles in the backfield with Tong. And Lions still running some players out in there. And Styles is just punishing runner.
He's fun to watch, Brian.
He is. And a guy like that, the only way you're going to bring him down is you got to run through him. Yep. You can't run into him because you're going to lose on that.
Yep.
You got to run through him. Easier said than done. And he gets that's number 4 now getting the ball. And he gets the first down. And the Lions have had this shut down all night. It was Vincent Vaughn on the tackle there. Number 8. And 1st and 10. Oh, we got a huge play there. Tong was sacked.
They fooled me on that one, Brian, but they didn't fool Adam Covert. He was in there to bring him down.
Playing a little bit like his older brother used to play out here.
Oh, Ethan was a great corner. He was one of those lockdown corners, kind of like Jake Newman.
Yeah. So that moved him back 4 yards on the sack. It makes it 2nd and 14. And the clock running down to 2:46. Tong looking downfield to pass. He throws it deep. And that's overthrown from his target. Good coverage there by the Lions also. It's hard to pick up the folks that were down there, but the Lions did a good job on coverage.
I think that was number 24, Chris Shinavare, who's been doing the kickoff duties tonight and getting some play at corner.
Styles in the backfield, and it's 3rd and 14. They hand it off to, no, that's number 4. And he takes off for a first down and more, and he's right at the corner. Looks like he's just short of the touchdown there. And the Corsairs marching on down. That was Deshaun Wilson on the run.
I'm going to mark that down at the 2.
And that's Styles. He's met hard, but keeps those legs driving. And they're going to call him down short of the goal line. That was a huge initial hit. I think that was number 4 for the Lions, Caleb McCahey.
Yeah, I think number 78 was in there too, Reed Reinhold. 6'3", 250.
All right, well, we see what they do here. And it goes again to number 4. And he gets in for the touchdown. Deshaun Wilson carrying in for the Corsairs. Their second touchdown of the night. We've got 50 seconds left on the clock. So they're going to go for 2 here. You got Wilson in the backfield next to Tong. And Tong rifles it over the middle and incomplete. So with 50 seconds left to go here, our score is 51-12. The Lions on top. The Corsairs getting ready to kick off, and we probably got the hands team up front there, but no, they just kind of kick it down. And Locke will down the ball at the 16-yard line. There's 44 seconds. We had get one snap out of here and then take a knee. Take 2 knees and we're done.
There you go.
So, Paul, like you were saying, a good night here for the Lions, and we can start looking forward to next week. It'll be interesting to see who's able to step up and who's healed up. But whoever the 11 guys are on the field, that's who's going to take on Walled Lake Western.
Yeah, you definitely, it was good to see Jack on the sidelines tonight, dressed, even though he didn't play. I'm sure they're trying to save him up. Hopefully he'll be at full strength by next week. A few little dinged-up injuries tonight, but I think talking to Jesse Powell's dad, he's fine. He was actually approved to go back into the game, although they didn't use him, so Jesse should be available. And hopefully Brendan Dancer.
Yeah. That'll be he's a key player out there with his experience and the way he hits, coverage, his smarts on defense. They need that. So with that, the Lions go 6-0 here tonight against Waterford Mott. They're in the playoffs, and we can say that without jinxing them. They're in the playoffs. So big game coming up next week, and we'll have our wrap-up here right after this.
Well, week number 6, homecoming here in the jungle. Your final score, 51-12. The Lions. This game ended the first quarter 7-6.
Yeah.
And then the Lions just hit the gas pedal.
They did. We were talking about how at the beginning of that first quarter, this was a ball game. Yeah. And we weren't at full strength. We had all the reasons in the world to, potentially lose this one. And the Cardiac kids didn't do it. They just came out and played their game and took advantage of every opportunity they had. They had good field position, and the Corsairs blew up on them. Yeah. So they took full advantage of that, obviously, when you get 51 points out there. Yeah. Lions did a great job tonight. Yeah. And all those kids that came in and stepped up.
It's great to see everyone being able to get out there on homecoming too. That was great. You saw the Lions take advantage of basically every opportunity the Corsairs gave them. What were your thoughts on tonight's game?
Yeah, no, like you guys were saying in that first quarter, but the Lions put themselves in a hole a couple times. I mean, we mentioned how many times can you have 3rd and 26, fellas? So, but they kind of fought through that. Opening up the second half, we had big homecoming night tonight, and Corsairs take the ball. They drive it all the way down the field. Mr. Stiles running the ball hard, takes it down to the 2-yard line. Boom, fumbled 98 yards the other way with DeFrank, and that really kind of sealed it at that point for the Lions, that they knew what the outcome was going to be, but they kept working all night long. It was a fun game. Yeah,
it was a complete game, team effort. I'll tell you what, that individual at tailback, Stiles, that came out there early in the second half reminded me of a young Ron Dane out there, right? I mean, he was moving well, and you better make sure you're not hitting him too high, or else you're not going to enjoy that.
Well, yeah, that big 80-yard run or so that he had there, it was probably the longest in time to run 80 yards, but he ran over every one of our guys has a footprint on him.
Right. No doubt. How about Gus Taylor tracking him down?
Oh, yeah. we mentioned that one, and Gus did not give up.
Nope, I love that. Oh.
That was great to see.
But, yeah, no, a big team win here tonight, and I'll just go ahead and be the first one to say it. Punching the ticket to the playoffs tonight. Yep. So, it's not every year here at South Lyon that you start off 6-0, so that's something to be proud of. I know that the boys got a long way to go, but, that's a big step in the right direction here for this season. So 6-0. Next week, we'll get to that here in a minute, but let's talk about our players of the games here for offense tonight.
All right, well, for offense, we had a couple of guys that we could have given it to. We gave it to Connor last week. Connor did a great job keeping plays alive, using his feet to scramble, throwing on the run, and threw 4 touchdowns, I believe. And they were going to 2 to Mitch and 2 to his brother Quinn. Yeah. Quinn did a great job running routes, running them deep enough for first downs on third downs. So we're going to give it to Quinn tonight for a great job that he did in consistency out there and playing on the other side on defense.
Right. No, absolutely. Great game for number 10. Quinn Fracassi, your offensive player of the game tonight. Who are we looking at for defense tonight?
Well, a lot of kids stepped up tonight, and with Jack Schaefer out, number 19, Ben Caesar really stepped up. He was all over the field tonight. He was making tackles. He was applying great coverage. And then, of course, you had Jesse Powell, right? He was all over the place. That quarterback, a couple times the quarterback handed off the ball, looked up, Jesse was in his face. And it was good to see. But Ben Caesar, again, a lot of hard hits tonight. And kudos to the line. We had a little injury tonight with Adam Walrath. Yes. People moved around. McComb moved over to center, and of course, Big Gus Taylor moved in at left guard. So, we've been saying it all year. Some things happen, but it's always next man up, and everybody's stepping up and doing the job.
Absolutely. Yeah, come week 6, there's lots of bumps and bruises by that time. But congratulations and a great game by Mr. Caesar tonight. Number 19, Ben Caesar, defensive player, tough guy. Well, let's go ahead and take a look ahead to next week. First off, let's talk about hopefully all of us will be able to be there so we can get the group back together. It's been 3 straight home games. I love playing in the jungle, but I'm looking forward to being on the microphone with you guys next week. Of course, we don't have Brighton. We don't have Novi. We don't have Northville anymore. But what we do have is we have the Wall Lake Western Warriors. And they've kind of stepped in as our little bit of our arch rival in the new conference. And more times than not, when you go over to Dick Watson Field, we've ended up on the wrong end of that. So I think the boys are looking forward to it. I know I am. It's going to be a huge Week 7 showdown. I'm looking forward to it, obviously, very much. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think, we've been tested this year by quite a few teams. That Lakeland game was a big tester for us where we came back from behind. They were a big team. Northern was a big team. And Western is always a big team with big names that, are slotted to go D1 or D2 and that. We certainly have our guys that are being looked at the next level. But we're playing this game right now. And we always fire up for Western.
That's right.
Always do, no matter what team. We were a 5-4 team that got snuck in by points, and then we took Western 30-31 and we lost.
Yep.
So it's going to be a great game.
Yep.
Looking forward to it, and I think it's going to be key for these guys to see who can get healthy. The coaches keep things mixed up. I think the coaches, Paul mentioned how the coaches did a great job of mixing up the plays tonight, mixing up the players. We had running back by committee for a little while there. And the defense didn't know what to do or who to cover. And that's going to be key to that deception.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you've never been out to Dick Watson Field over at Walled Lake Western, I love playing here in the jungle. There's no doubt about that. This is a great atmosphere. This is, I put it up against anything. But that matchup next week at Walled Lake Western High School is going to be the best of Michigan high school football. I think it'll probably be the game of the week next week. What are your thoughts? Looking forward to it, Paul?
Yeah, you got to believe that both teams coming in kind of on a hot streak. Western's been just running over everybody, and we've been watching the Lions every week just get better and better. They maintain their focus this week, right, which you got to worry about a little bit. And after taking care of business with Walled Lake Northern the week before, and I thought they just played great disciplined ball that week. So I think the coaches have got them peaking. I'm sure they've had this game circled on the schedule all year long, so let's go. I'm ready.
I am too. I can't wait to get out there, and we invite you out. South Lyon traditionally travels well. The visiting stands at Walled Lake Western can hold you, so come on out. We'll see you hopefully on Friday night at Walled Lake Western High School. For Paul Zarati, Mr. Brian McPhee, Matt Boyer back on camera this week, I'm Dan Pelchat. Remember, folks, it's a great day to be living in America. We'll see you next week at Walled Lake Western High School.